Roles reversed. This time I'm asking Laurie the questions. Laurie, there was a little bit of it wasn't heated, but a bit of a debate at the end with Cecil and Turkish, mainly Cecil, talking about kind of how much this really matters. I understand there's a bigger picture, but you want your football team to win games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for those who may not have seen it, myself and Cecil were going back and forth. So Cecil was saying, listen, the game doesn't mean that much. He's not really that bothered. And I was saying to him that I feel that the game, okay, in terms of jeopardy, there wasn't too much jeopardy. I mean, if we lost the game, then Liverpool would have won the title. That hasn't happened. I'm thankful for that. But we're just delaying the inevitable, really.
Yeah.
Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of jeopardy in the game. It looks like we're going to finish second. But I still want to see a performance from the guys. And it was disappointing for me, the way we let the game slip. And what I was saying, the point I was trying to make, I'm not sure if I made it in the best possible way, because we got into a bit of a heated argument, was that what we saw today in terms of Arsenal dropping points and, I've seen that too many times this season. We've been sloppy. We've turned wins into draws too many times. That was our 13th game this season where we've drawn. Only Everton have drawn more games in the season. Look where they are in the table. And I'm saying that it's incumbent upon us to set certain standards. It's okay being in the semi-finals of the Champions League, great. Put out Real Madrid, great. Yeah. But you want to see the team aspire to certain standards. And at the moment, we're a bit sloppy. I mean, listen, we were full of praise for Arsenal when they beat Ipswich. We were all, singing their praises.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. You're right. We enjoyed that game.
So the games do matter, because a few days ago we're all saying how well we played. Today wasn't the case. I understand there's a big game on the horizon. Players don't want to get injured. They don't want to go crashing into tackles. But we should have won today. We let it slip, and that was disappointing. I guess that was the point I was making.
The line I gave you when you were interviewing me was, you don't put a hamstring concentrating, and that's the frustration, I think, with Saliba era, because football can sometimes be defined by such fine margins. Today, were we great? No. Were we remotely inspiring? Probably not. But at the same time, we were 2-1 up, we were leading at half time, we were pretty comfortable. We had a goal basically ruled out for the smallest of margins, could easily have been 3-1 up. And actually, though Palace definitely had a 20-minute spell where they really came into it, we controlled a lot of the game. You could be coming out of it going, well, in second gear, we've picked up 3 points, but it's the small details that matter sometimes.
Exactly right. And if you look at that goal again, the second goal, what I'm talking about, second Palace goal, it was a bit of a comedy of errors, because although Saliba's largely at fault, he makes a mistake. There's questions about Odegaard. I mean, somebody texted me earlier and said that Mateta treated Odegaard like Debo in Friday.
I don't get the reference, but there
we go. Well, those who know. The way he just dashed him to the floor, that was a little bit off. Some people would argue, why is Odegaard in that position? He should be further up the pitch. Raya, was he too far off his line? He got done there. So there are things there that, you could look back on and think, actually, we need to, eradicate those silly errors. And that's what you take from games like today. Okay, there is... you can always make that claim that it doesn't really matter that much, but it does at the end of the day. I mean, these things do matter.
Are you worried about it affecting momentum for PSG, or are you thinking that, what Arsenal we showed after draws with Everton and Brentford, that we can raise it for the big stage?
The way I would phrase it is, I'm not worried per se, but I am slightly concerned, because if you look at Saliba, for example, he's been fantastic for Arsenal. He's definitely one of my favourite players. But this is the second time now in a few games he's done that. I mean, he did it against Real Madrid in what was a massive game. You don't want him doing that against PSG, because we might not get away with it next time. So it's little things like that. We need to eradicate the sloppiness. And so, I'm not overly worried, but it is a concern.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Still confident. I mean, where were you with PSG? Thinking we'll be able to put this league form to bed and just think, there's a Champions League at the end of all this. Is that? Do you have that belief? Do you have that confidence? Do you have that sort of hope within you that it's like this can end, as much as there's nights like tonight that are a bit uninspiring, that this can end on a real high?
Yeah, listen, and you know what? There were positives I can take from tonight. I mean, you mentioned it in your interview that you said about Trossard in that false nine. I mean, what is it? 3 goals in 2 games now?
Might be even more. I think it's 4-4 or 4-3, something.
Yeah, so look, he's coming into form at the right time. He's looking sharp. He's scoring goals. The form of Jacob Kivior has been revelation almost. I mean, if you think about it, it's interesting with Saliba making those mistakes. I remember me and you and a few others talking about Jacob Kivior when Gabriel got injured, and people were saying, oh, he's got a mistake in him. Well, since he's come into the team, he's not made any mistakes. And Saliba, who's normally like really reliable, he's made 2 or 3 really bad ones. So the form of Jacob Kivior is encouraging. And listen, so there are things that we can take as positives going into that game. And all things being considered, I am confident against PSG. I do recognise it's going to be a difficult game. But I do think that we've got what it takes to beat them and get through to the final.
Good to hear, mate. Pleasure.
Thanks.